Welcome to my Days of Our Lives official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Everett snaps at Stephanie and Chanel, and Johnny's honeymoon is rudely intruded. John and Steve's relationship has been strained the once many weeks, with John learning about the charge Victor transferred them on decades ago when John was still the pawn, and Steve keeping the verity about Constantine's son who was killed during the charge. Coming up, Steve's woman. Kayla comes to John letting him know, "I've commodity for you." She punches him in the arm and John laughs, "Ow." At the DeMera manse, Holly spends time with Rachel. Commodity Kristen isn't happy about given what has come to light about Holly's involvement with medicines. She warns her to stay down from her son. This ignites sparks between Kristen and Nicole. Nicole tells Kristen, "You want to come after someone, come after me." Kristen is ready to bring on the fight, as EJ rushes to pull Nicole and his family piecemeal. A hypnotism session with Marlena left Everett shaken when he saw an image of himself smiling intolerably. Plus, effects went from bad to worse when it was revealed Robert, Bobby, Stein, and Jada were still wedded. Everett refused to subscribe the divorce papers, stating he was that man and this would be phony. Coming up, Stephanie confronts Everett and tells him that he's been ID'd as Robert Stein. He snappily shuts her up and snaps, "Don't you ever call me that again." Is the real Bobby arising? Eventually, Chanel and Johnny head to the Horton cabin for a proper honeymoon, only for it to be crashed when the door blows open just as effects are hotting up. But who's at the door? This seems like Commodity Sammy might do, but we know she's not in Salem. Perhaps it was just the wind? Nah. Got severely honest this week. Plus, have we eventually met the real Bobby? All products and services featured are singly chosen by editors. Still, Soaps.com may admit a commission on orders placed through its retail links, and the retailer may admit certain auditable data for counting purposes. Romeo and Juliet, eat your hearts out. Actually, considering their fate, perhaps that's a poor choice of words. Days of Our Lives is setting up a classic teen love after a week of hard trueness in the wake of Holly's disclosure. And Everett just did Commodity so head-scratching that we could only find one satanic, "Don't worry, I don't mean that literally," reason for his conduct. Check out what went down this week and where effects are heading below. Fabricator, I still suppose Holly blurting out the verity when everyone from the christening was still around would have been more explosive, but this week's fallout has been suitable darn good. Yes, EJ tried ignoring Holly's concession at first, but Nicole shut that down presto, and I was pleasantly surprised with how it all went down. Brady's slightly controlled rage put him in control with Elvis. Nice touch, Brady, and you could see how important it was killing EJ to admit he was wrong. But the big bright spot this week was Holly and Nicole's battle. I wasn't sure how effects were going to go, but I was so down for all of it. Nicole handled it as a parent should, taking her time to suppose about what was right for Holly calmly before deciding on a discipline remedy. Also phone and auto after Holly lashed out? That's what parents are for, not being a friend. No matter how wild they were when they were youthful Nicole. Still, Holly wasn't telling falsehoods when she lashed back out at Nicole for being a crappy mama. I don't believe, no matter how important she insists, her only reason for lying was to save Nicole pain. I suppose Mama was right that she wanted to keep out of trouble too, but she threw slap after slap Nicole's way and they all hit. But so did Nicole's. Especially that last line about Johnny and Tate, "Seems like you always want what you see and have." Just like me. The stylish competitions are bones. That are severely honest, and I feel like much everything about that was. They both squinched up, and no matter who you condemn, that sweepstakes was fantastic. Ugh, I am going to miss Ariane Zucker when she's gone. Holly gapes at Nicole's raised hand. Further exclusive Allison Sweeney weighs in on Salem mystifications longer term. I can see this putting effects in position for the Jude reveal. Holly and Eric grew indeed closer, which means she'll be pushing hard for him and Nicole to get back together. And EJ handled effects unexpectedly well after he seethed at Brady's demanding he fix effects with Tate. He made a point of telling Nicole they'd get through this as a family, which is going to tear him piecemeal when that family's broken up. Loose ends. We eventually got back to Stefan on Friday, but why did it take so long for Nicole to get to? Perhaps Stefan is responsible for Holly's medicines. You suppose? And EJ seems much further blasé about the whole thing than I would have anticipated. He's talking about Demera like a foreign reality. The board has been trying hard to produce a new image. This will be a blow. I know he got boggled out, but I was awaiting further along the lines of, I easily need to step by, reclaim my birthright and make this right. Holly and Tate embrace outside the Demera manse. Further couples heading for Splitsville. Did I miss commodity with Tate and Holly, however? The maternal response to the two of them was, as I anticipated, warring houses, proscribing their union. Romeo and Juliet, then we come. But the two of them on Friday, sneaking around, participating phones, kissing. It's like they've been dating for a while. New Tate, new direction? Everett revealed. I love the addict mashup name for Everett and Bobby, I don't know why. First out, Jade is pushed from pure wrathfulness to hardcore snark. I am enjoying it, but I know folks are resolve on her response. I suppose her response to Everett just about totalities it up, though that sounds like some grade A, narcissistic Bobby BS to me. Egoists, the sociopathic order that is, doen't change and doen't want to change. They can be dangerous and hugely lacking in empathy. So yeah, Jada would have reason to misdoubt everything Everett says and use wrathfulness as a defense. Heck, indeed Everett gets why she's not willing to give him a chance. But I am sticking a bit more with how she's treating Stephanie. Last week was one thing. I can understand pressure, hurt and indeed a feeling of treason, but Jada isn't letting up at all. I am hoping this doesn't turn into an endless split. There aren't enough Gemütlichkeit on day. At a table in the Brady pub, Jada, Rafe and Sloan light at a beaming Everett. Further Belle's fate and return? And those divorce papers just came out of nowhere. While I could see Bobby, if he's really a villain, not subscribing the divorce papers for some reason, having Everett refuse to do so felt so simulated to me. I allowed. He accepted the fact that he's Bobby and just couldn't flash back it. So him saying, no, I am not him, so that would be phony, stopped me dead. He's just creating further drama for himself. Why would he be stubborn about this? Unless Everett isn't in control right now, however, would he want anyone to know? I guess he wouldn't, seeing as how important trouble he's created, if Bobby took over. But if he didn't want to subscribe the papers ahead, he may not want to subscribe them now. And we really don't know anything about him other than that he was apparently enough horrible. Who knows what kind of trouble he'd want to stir up. In the square, Everett gapes ahead with a drawn expression. So have we eventually gotten our first regard at him? Perhaps after Marlena's hypnotism gave Everett that look at his creepy, smirking tone, Bobby popped up and took over. We don't know enough about him to know what his game is, but easily, he creates mayhem. Slapdash studies Xander, chum, that was good work, noticing the stripe difference. But there isn't a single judge or jury who would watch. Oh, you say the pants were slightly different? And you couldn't have worn another brace of running pants to shoot Harris? Whatever you say, Mr. Cook, I really hope Chad's visit to Abigail's grave and his guilt over Clyde means he'll be the one to kill the villain. If he's at the Horton cabin and Johnny and Chanel ever get to it, we do know Clyde's popping back over again coming week. Wendy's PTSD was well done and accessible in a real-world environment after nearly dying. But this is a cleaner pieces, and I don't suppose it's what she and Tripp need right now if the show wants folks invested. Paulina telling Marlena she might be psychic now? No. Next. Ava and Harris did stuff this week too.